47, remembering Jimmy Carter, died yesterday in Georgia, age 100. Former president will be honored next week in D.C., a state funeral. Sherman Oaks, a Democratic Congressman Brad Sherman will be there. And Congressman, we understand you worked on Carter's campaign back in the 70s. Tell us more.
Well, absolutely. I was a volunteer in every Democratic campaign in the 60s and 70s. And, it was tough given the inflation that we saw during the second half of Carter's presidency. And, Ronald Reagan, of course, being the governor of California, carried the state.
Brad, I know it was a while ago, but what was Jimmy like? Do you remember what he was like working with? Was he the man that he's portrayed as most of us know him as? Did the media portray him right?
He was the best human being, I think, to serve in the presidency in the last 100 years, at least. He never left his moral compass, and you can fault this or that policy, but you can't fault the morality, the ethics, just being a good human being. And you saw that when he became our best ex-president.
Yeah, tell me about that post-presidential life that you got to witness over the last, 20, 30 years. I mean, he really changed that idea of the things you can do and the attention you can bring when you're going around the country or the world as a former president.
Well, human rights is now an essential part of our foreign policy, and it gives us a standing in the world, even when we occasionally prioritize some other objective. And it's Carter that really gave that to us, and it's important for the world that we promote democracy and human rights, and important for America that we be seen as not just a country looking for our own short-term economic interest.
It comes to Jimmy Carter and his presidency. I've got a 21-year-old son. He knows who Jimmy Carter is. He knows the work that Jimmy has done, especially with Habitat for Humanity. But, president in the 70s, my son in the 70s is something he learns in school. I think it's interesting that of all the former presidents, he's going to be remembered most for what he's done after he served. And I think a lot of people may not even remember what he did when he was in office.
Well, those of us who lived through it will certainly remember it. His success at Camp David, bringing peace between Israel and Egypt, secured a Nobel Prize for the Egyptian and Israeli leader, and later for Carter himself. That was perhaps the most important step toward peace in the Middle East, period.
Let's do some forward thinking here. I mean, Carter was the last Democrat to win Texas. After him, Democrats kind of lost the South. These are some of the headlines that are going around today. Parties looking for changes after this last election. What lessons should kind of the new guard learn from Jimmy Carter?
Well, in a way, Trump argues is the opposite of Jimmy Carter. Even his supporters don't regard him as a moral and ethical human being. Even those who think that Trump is a good president, they don't hold him up as a standard that they want their own children to meet. And Carter was the exact opposite of that. I hope very much that the success of Trump doesn't mean that we don't care about the morality of the people we elect.
Sherman Oaks, a Democratic Congressman Brad Sherman, thanks.